The headlines are stark. Putin signs a new draft, calling up 150,000 more men. Russia's war machine is desperate, and this decree will upend thousands of lives. This isn't a call for volunteers or patriots, it's a mandate, a demand from a government running out of options. Officially, it's just another routine draft. But nothing about this is normal. It comes as the war drags on, with mounting casualties and no end in sight. The Kremlin claims these conscripts won't see combat, but Russians have heard these empty promises before. The line between conscript and casualty is now razor thin. Behind the bureaucratic language is a story of fear and coercion. For families, this decree is a personal threat, a knock on the door, a summons that could tear their sons away. Anxiety hangs over the country. Young men look over their shoulders, wondering if their lives are about to change forever. This is Putin's Russia, a nation trapped between a relentless war effort and a growing desire for peace. The Kremlin needs soldiers to hold territory and replace staggering losses, and it will go to any length to get them. This draft is more than policy. It's a declaration that the state's ambitions outweigh the lives of its citizens. As enlistment offices begin their work, a quiet resistance is building. It's not about politics, it's about survival. Across Russia, families brace for the worst. The government's need for bodies is pitted against the people's will to endure. The draft is a test of how far the state can push its citizens before they push back. The war has come home, not just to the front, but to every Russian doorstep. The question now, how many will answer the call and how many will resist? The machinery of conscription is in motion, but so is the machinery of fear, anger, and defiance. In the end, this draft may change more than the war. It may change Russia itself. The battle lines are drawn, not just in Ukraine, but in the hearts of Russia's own people. In theory, conscription starts with a summons. In reality, it's become a manhunt. Reports from Moscow and other cities tell of a shadow draft, state-sanctioned kidnapping. Military officials and police now hunt young men in the streets, subways, even workplaces. Imagine being stopped on your way to work, papers demanded, and then whisked away to an enlistment office. Phones are confiscated, families left in the dark. This isn't hypothetical, it's happening now. Public spaces have become hunting grounds and fear is everywhere. Young men avoid the metro, stay indoors, and dodge public places. Videos circulate of plainclothes officers tackling men, police raiding hostels, rounding up new citizens. The message, you can't hide, and the state will find you. This is less a draft, more a press gang operation from another era. The goal, fill quotas and intimidate the population. Many dodge the draft by not living at their registered address, but the authorities adapt, taking the search to the streets. It's a powerful tool of fear, showing the state's reach is absolute. Every citizen is a potential target, every public space a potential trap. The official process is a facade. The real draft is a campaign of coercion. The state's power is on full display, and compliance is enforced by fear. The shadow draft is a warning. In Putin's Russia, the law is whatever the state says it is. The streets are no longer safe for young men. The draft is everywhere, and so is the fear. The machinery of the state is relentless. Resistance is growing, but so is the crackdown. The line between civilian and soldier is vanishing. In Russia today, anyone can be taken, and everyone knows it. Russian law claims conscripts are protected from combat, but reality tells a different story. The Kremlin promises only professional soldiers fight in Ukraine, but these assurances are hollow. Once drafted, young men face relentless pressure to sign contracts. They're bullied, threatened, and told it's just a formality. Better pay, better conditions. But signing instantly makes them eligible for the front lines. The choice is pure coercion. Stories abound. A draftee is sent to training, pressured to sign, and soon his family learns he's in Ukraine. The legal distinction between conscript and contractor vanishes in practice. This bait and switch is a fundamental betrayal. The government says one thing in public, does another in private. Families feel deceived, young men feel trapped. The official narrative, that conscripts are safe, has been exposed as a lie. More conscripts return in body bags, or not at all. The Russian public is learning in Putin's Russia, the law bends to the state's needs. Trust is broken and anger is growing. The draft is not just dangerous, it's dishonest. The cost is measured in lives and in faith lost. The Kremlin's promises are as fragile as the paper they're written on. The myth of the mighty Russian army has crumbled. Soldiers are forced to buy their own gear, body armor, first aid kits, even boots. Families empty savings, take loans, and crowdfund to keep their sons alive. Supply lists read like camping trips, not modern warfare. Soldiers ask for thermal underwear, water filters, even drones and radios. Food is expired, weapons are faulty, and uniforms fall apart. A faulty rifle or missing first aid kit can mean death. The state's neglect is a matter of life and death. Corruption and incompetence have gutted the supply chain. Money for equipment vanishes, warehouses are empty, the army looks strong on paper but is hollow inside. Each soldier becomes his own quartermaster and medic. He fights two wars. One against the enemy. One against his own government's failures. The burden falls on families, not the state. Survival is privatized, and the cost is paid in blood. Beyond the front lines, Russian soldiers face another enemy, their own army's culture of brutality. Dedovshchina, systematic hazing and abuse, remains rampant. New recruits are beaten, humiliated, and extorted by senior soldiers. Personal belongings are stolen, and abuse can escalate to torture or worse. Fear and paranoia rule the barracks. Complaints go ignored, officers are often complicit. This cruelty destroys morale and trust. Soldiers brutalized by comrades are unlikely to risk their lives for them. The system breeds resentment, not unity. Some soldiers injure themselves to escape, others desert, risking prison. The fact that self-harm or desertion seems safer than service is damning. The army breaks its own before they ever see battle. This internal rot weakens the force from within. The promise of service becomes a nightmare. The real enemy is often in the next bunk. The Russian military's failures are rooted in corruption. Billions meant for modernization vanish into luxury villas and offshore accounts. The result, a Potemkin army, impressive on paper, rotten in reality. Tanks go to battle with fake armor. Bulletproof vests are filled with scrap metal. These aren't just thefts, they're death sentences for soldiers. Corruption infects every level. Fuel is stolen, rations pilfered, spare parts sold for scrap. Vehicles are abandoned not from combat, but from lack of fuel or repairs. The logistical chain is broken by greed. Loyalty to the leader trumps competence. There's no accountability. The culture of graft trickles down through the ranks. The frontline soldier pays the price for this decay. Inferior equipment, inadequate support, because someone else got rich. The real enemy is corruption itself. Facing the draft, Russian men are fleeing in droves. Hundreds of thousands have crossed borders into Kazakhstan, Georgia, Armenia, and Finland. They leave behind families, jobs, and everything familiar. The risk of staying, being sent to the front, is too great. For many, exile is better than a likely death. Those who stay go into hiding, cut off contact, and live in constant fear. A black market for fake medical certificates and bribes flourishes. Corruption offers an escape for those who can pay. Some resist more openly. Arson attacks on enlistment offices are on the rise. These are acts of desperation, not hooliganism. Destroying records is a last-ditch protest. The state calls it sabotage, but it's a sign of deep anger. When people burn government buildings, faith in the system is gone. The exodus and resistance are reshaping Russia's future. The draft is not just a policy, it's a national crisis. The Kremlin's propaganda paints the war as noble, but reality is breaking through. Most Russian men don't want to die for this war, they don't believe in it. It's not a war of defense, but of choice. Putin's choice. Despite censorship, news from the front leaks back. Chaos, incompetence, horrific casualties. Soldiers call home, sharing the truth. They're cannon fodder, sent on suicidal missions. Videos and stories spread, shattering the official narrative. The younger generation rejects the Kremlin's imperial nostalgia. They see Ukraine as a neighbor, not an enemy. Attempts to dehumanize Ukrainians fall flat. Russians are being asked to kill and die for a cause they don't support, and they're refusing. This is a crisis of motivation. No propaganda can fix. Resistance is personal. The desire to live, to protect family, to hope for a future. Most are not dissidents, just ordinary people pushed to the brink. Their refusal is not cowardice. They're nawa, bomansinmawa, born sunkenati. It's a silent referendum on Putin's war. The Kremlin can't force belief. The real battle is for the hearts and minds of its own people. The Russian military is trapped in a vicious cycle. Heavy losses force more drafts, but brutal methods only fuel more resistance. The more the state coerces, the less willing its soldiers are to fight. Morale is at rock bottom. Corruption cripples logistics. Trust between state and soldier is shattered. You can't build an army on lies, abuse, and neglect. Throwing more bodies at the problem only deepens the crisis. The system is rotten to its core. Corruption, hazing, and disregard for life are embedded. The war machine runs on fear and inertia, but it's running on fumes. Resistance, flight, hiding, defiance is a symptom of terminal decay. The Kremlin can force men into uniform, but not into loyalty. An army that terrorizes its own has already lost. The collapse is not just possible, it's inevitable.